Hey guys, so this is the final part of my Dark Shadow My Hero Academia cosplay prop. Um, so I bought this polyfill stuffing, and basically what I'm gonna do is I also purchased, by the way, I purchased all of these on Amazon because it was pretty last minute, so these were like the things that could come pretty quickly compared to like other things. I was like looking at the prices and like what could come as fast as possible, so they came within the week that I was like actually filming, like making these clips. So yeah, but basically well, the week that I was making Dark Shadow, to be honest. So I bought these thigh high or knee high, I think they're like knee high socks, and I filled it with polyfill. Whenever you're stuffing something, I know other YouTubers that do crafts and I watch them and they're like, oh, when you stuff something, it takes more stuffing than you think it will. So literally it took a while to stuff this, so I actually was like trying my best to film. To be honest, this video itself, a lot of the clips that I have compiled that I have for this process for the body, it's not that great because my angles were really bad at the time. Um, what is it? I didn't have like a good, like, oh no, I feel like I filmed it really poorly compared to like how like I'm drawing like videos, my drawing videos and stuff, just because it's easy to do drawings because it's just like straight down. As for like when you're doing like arts and crafts, the angle is kind of weird. So I have to admit some parts where it's like you guys should see, it's really difficult to see. So yeah. Um I've just filmed the whole process of stuffing it. Basically, I wanted the head to somehow be connected to the end of the sock. So I ended up doing like a sewing method, which worked out okay, but it wasn't the best method, to be honest. It's still a bit wonky. I might go back and do some touch-ups with it, but you guys will see what I did. It's not the best, but for something that doesn't cost that much money, like a budget cosplay thing, it could work. So yeah. I was trying to stuff this like pretty even, but it's a bit like not that even. Also, I noticed the material of this sock, it's kind of see-through-ish when you like start stuffing it, because like the material gets stretched out, so it's not really a thick material compared to what I thought it would be. But it works okay if you look at the prop from like a distance, but like close up you'll notice like, oh, I can see the white, like the polyfill and everything. So yeah, it doesn't like bother me a lot since Dark Shadow is like a shadow anyway, so he's not really super, what is it like, I feel like he's not supposed to be super opaque, like you can't see through him. Sometimes it depends. So yeah. Also, like when I was stuffing it, it kept moving around because I would put my hand inside and take my hand out, so then it kept like sliding on the table, and I was like, this is really not a good angle to film at. So do apologize again if it bothers you guys a bit with like the angle. To be honest, it wasn't my best like filming work, especially because I'm not used to filming arts and crafts normally. So I'm almost at the end, like how I showed you guys. So it's almost done being stuffed. I tried to like even it out and stuff like that. So how I ended up doing the portion that's supposed to be inside of Tokoyami, basically, I just ended up tying it off like a tail for now. It's just a regular knot. I didn't want to sew it. I wasn't too sure like the shape for like how I would sew it. So I ended up doing this. I'm still not too sure like how I'm gonna hide that like in the cosplay. So I'm gonna have to look into like how it would work. I haven't looked at references for Tokoyami, so I have to look at that first. But it's been a while since I watched some My Hero Academia because I'm waiting for like the new stuff to come out. Um, Recently I watched the couple months ago I did watch the new movie. I forgot the name of it, but basically I watched it in theaters with my dad. So yeah. So for the head, I wanted to sew it on, but I was using a pretty big sewing needle, so I ended up having to find something like some way to push through all the layers of the head, like the foam, and basically make holes. My issue with it is that literally I was trying to use the needle to do that, and it ended up like the worst because the needle just got stuck in between. It wasn't strong enough, so I ended up going about it with like a skewer. This is basically just like skewer I had in my kitchen. We have a bunch of like wooden skewers that we don't use, but we have them. So I ended up using it. It's for like barbecue, but we don't do barbecue in my house. So literally, they don't go to waste because sometimes when I'm doing our projects, I'm using them anyways. Um, the holes didn't end up like super straight. Like like it'd be angled to like from one side to the other, so I had to go back and forth. You can see the glue mark where I tried to glue the head on, but that was a bad idea because the foam is actually way heavier than the body, which is why I said I didn't really like the body and the arms because in other videos, just because the way I made them is like putting a hard, heavy material on top of something that's soft and light doesn't really work out that well in terms of like what's holding what. So I tried my best. I ended up sewing it. I did multiple layers of thread. So this is basically thread that's been folded onto itself like multiple times. So that way it's at least a bit sturdy. You could use a ball of yarn to actually do this because yarn is thicker than like the thread that I was using because I was just using sewing thread. To be honest, yarn would have been a better choice, but I actually threw out all of my yarn because I stopped doing art with it. So yeah, when I was younger, my mom would always try to teach me how to do crocheting, and I just um ended up like because I had no one to practice with afterwards, so I kind of gave up on that, and I wasn't that great at it to begin with. I know my mom can make stuff out of it, but I didn't have the patience. So yeah, that's just me. So I ended up using this sewing thread that I have. Now that I think about it, I didn't think about it like before, but now that I'm actually doing this voiceover and looking over these videos, you could use yarn. It is a thicker material. It might be more sturdy compared to just trying to tie a bunch of thread together and like folding it over each other to sew. The top of his head is a bit like the paint had dried, but the top of his head, you can see some of the blue and yellow. So I might need to go and touch that up in the future if I want to like rework on him, if I think of like better ways to improve him. But overall, now I'm just going to leave him for how like he ended up so far. So I'm going back and forth. So I went in one direction where I went down the head. Now I'm going back up the head. And the reason why I ended up doing that was so that way I could just make sure it was sturdy and there was enough thread to hold it together. I didn't want it to break. It kind of always looks like it's gonna break, but it hasn't like snapped off when I was moving the prop around and like just leaving him different places in my room. So it seems sturdy for now. I might fix it in the future again. Like I said, it's something that I only worked on once and then I didn't touch. So yeah. Again, the angles are really bad, so it's just something that I was like, I think by the time I got to the making these clips and doing this part of the project, I kind of just wanted to get it over with because it wasn't completely turning out the way that I wanted. So there's some parts that went wrong and I just ended up rushing through this part, to be honest, but it's not that bad. Like, it's still a usable prop, I feel like. So I filmed at night for this part, but apparently it's not that great, the lighting. So I cut open the side of the end of the sock, and basically that's where I wanted to put the arm. This was kind of a risk because it always feels like the arm is really heavy because it's paper mache, and compared to the body's super light, like I said. So yeah, so I think I tried to literally like tape this on. I don't know why. I thought that was a great idea, but that was a horrible idea. Never like trust tape, especially because it's not like gorilla tape or anything like that. It's just masking tape. Literally don't use that. um I took out some stuffing, I put in his arm. At the end I ended up using like a strong glue and then layering it on with like white glue so that way it would work. I think for this part I was kind of giving up. I was gonna sew it on like how I sewed the head, but because it's paper mache and it's like really hard, I tried to do the skewer thing and it wouldn't go through and I didn't have enough strength to do it, so I just like, called it quits by then. Yeah. I didn't show me really applying the glue. I just showed me like shoving it into the body, but I did do like layers of glue. I think I was tired by then. So yeah. Um so yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I might in my next video just show you how it looks like on my back, but I haven't set up like any pins on it or anything so that way his arm and body can like stay on my shirt. I'm kind of afraid because it might fall over, so I have to like figure out certain things. But this is how he turned out for now. I'll probably do like an ending video in my next video for it. Um, But yeah, he turned out okay. It's decent. Here are the claws. Basically these are for the right hand. The right hand's supposed to be that it's his arm is over your arm when you're wearing it. So that's why I kind of want to do a different video for that. But yeah, this is basically it. Overall, it was a project that I will remember, but at the same time, I think I learned from a couple of the mistakes, but I normally don't do arts and crafts. Like I said, my channel is mainly drawing. So yeah, so hope you guys enjoyed this video. Bye!